Hello everyone, this is part 12 of What If Naruto Meets the Nine Tails Early, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. A few days have passed as Sasuke was finally getting the hang of using shadow clones for training purposes. This was just what he needed. Despite only being able to use 4 clones for the basic exercises and lower level jutsu, and no more than 2 for the higher level jutsu and chidori, the results were just what he had been looking for. He found the most use for training with them when he went to practice his weapon usage or taijutsu, as the memories of how he moved and the slight adjustments he made came to him. He also knew that when it came time to work on a new jutsu, that they would shorten the time that he would be required to take to learn the jutsu. Sasuke was wandering through town, looking for his teammates the other day. He had asked Sasuke about the details about obtaining and summoning contract and that he was going to try to obtain the cat summoning contract. This contract was something that was passed throughout the Uchiha clan, but only to those who completed a certain task. For Sasuke, his task was to collect the paw prints of numerous cats. Itachi had started him on this journey, but Sasuke stopped collecting the paw prints with only 2 left to go when Itachi betrayed the village and the entire clan. Until recently, the cat contract was something Sasuke really wanted as it reminded him too much of Itachi. However, with the recent display of power that Naruto had showed with his own contract, Sasuke's mind had changed. Now he wanted the contract. The 2 prints he had left to collect after their battle with the Shukakal were Matatapi, the Nibi, and Nekomata, the boss of the ninja cat underworld. To him, it was almost like fate was shining down on him to complete the task and get the contract. In fact, he had met Yugito, the Jinchuriki of the Nibi, during the exams, and after a quick, yet intense, sparring match after the whole ordeal with the finals was concluded, she and Matatapi agreed to give Sasuke the Nibi paw print. As of now, he only had to collect the paw print of the cat boss, Nekomata. After some convincing by Sasuke that he was ready for a summoning contract, Kakashi allowed him to go. However, since this was outside the village, it would have to be on either a mission or clan business and he would have to take his team with him. Thankfully, he had to meet with Nekoba, an old woman who lived in an abandoned city in the south of the Land of Fire. Nekoba was an old cat lady and friend of the Uchiha clan. She was also the primary supplier of ninja tools to the Uchiha, giving Sasuke his excuse to pursue the contract. With her lived Denka and Hina, 2 ninja cats. These 2 were the ones who initially issued the task to Sasuke, and it was they that kept the cat summoning contract. After his long hiatus from collecting paw prints, Sasuke was finally determined to complete the collection and earn the contract. At this time, Haku was on a mission, now being a chunin. He still didn't understand why only those 2 got promoted, but then again, his match was stopped in the middle by a giant snake rampaging through the village. Sakura was the one he was looking for as she was the harder of the 2 to find. Naruto, on the other hand, would most likely be one of 2 places, the ramen shop or the training grounds. After about 1 hour 45 minutes, a frustrated Sasuke finally found Sakura. She was hanging around Ino's shop, spreading gossip when she should have been training. Now for Naruto. Thankfully for Sasuke, Naruto was at the training grounds, at least someone was doing something useful. Futen, Gale Palm, he shouted, practicing his new jutsu. It was at this time that Sasuke and Sakura came on scene. Sasuke saw the jutsu coming and was able to duck behind a tree to avoid the gust of wind. Sakura, on the other hand, didn't quite have the reflexes and was knocked flat on her back. As a result, she began trying to beat Naruto as she always did when he did something stupid, but was stopped by Sasuke. In Naruto's defense, they had walked in on him unexpectedly. Sakura wasn't willing to argue with Sasuke. After a quick explanation as to why they were going, the 3 reported to the Hokage Tower. They informed the Hokage of their intentions, to retrieve the necessary supplies to restock the Uchiha supply and to obtain the cat contract. If it hadn't been for a long day of paperwork, Tsunade would have questioned Sasuke's decision to face Nekomata. The paperwork was already her as the stuff that she had yet to catch up on from the previous weeks before she came back to the village just kept piling up. She was in no mood for arguing with a hot-headed Uchiha. In fact, the only thing she needed right now was a drink and a long nap. After about a day's journey, the trio of Leaf Genin found themselves at an abandoned town and the home of Nekoba and her granddaughter Tamaki. Upon entering the old lady's shop, Sasuke was confronted by two cats, Denka and Hina. To pass, they asked for a treat. Sakura was a little freaked out by a talking cat, but it was no different than a talking toad to Naruto. Sasuke knew how to deal with them and pulled out a tube of catnip from his pocket. The two ninja cats allowed the trio to pass. Sasuke, is that you? Said Nekoba, taking a look at Sasuke. She hadn't seen him since after that dreadful night almost 3 years ago. She was sitting on the floor, sipping some tea and playing with about a dozen regular cats around her. After all these years, what finally brings you here? Sasuke, said an excited girl, about the same age as the three genin. She wore an orange sleeveless shirt and had shoulder-length brown hair, matching the color of her eyes. Taking a look at Sasuke, the girl blushed a little. This caught Sakura's eye and inner Sakura began flipping out. Hello Tamaki, greeted Sasuke. He then turned back to Nekoba. I'm surprised you are still in this place. The town is abandoned. Yes, well this place has always been a good home to me and I have nowhere else to go, replied the old cat woman. You could always come to Konoha, he replied. So Sasuke, what brings you here? Asked Tamaki, looking at him while inner Sakura began to flip out even more. I've come to finish my task, he said, pulling out a book. Ah, your poor encyclopedia, said Denka, opening the book. I was hoping you would come around to completing it one day. Let's see here. Wow, I'm impressed you got the Nibby's print. Looks like all you need is. What is it he needs? Asked Sakura, curious to the ninja cat's paws. He needs Nekomata's paw print, explained Denka as Tamaki gasped slightly. Nekomata, replied Sakura. Yes, he's the boss of the cat underground and an extremely strong foe. It will be hard to even get near him, let alone getting his paw print, explained Denka. So what's so special about getting a paw print? Why would this Nekomata make such a big deal about it? Asked Sakura. Because Pinky, to a cat, giving out our paw print is just as bad and just as embarrassing as if you had a picture taken of you, explained Hina. We cats value our cleverness and someone having our paw print is a sign that we've been outsmarted. It's extremely degrading. Sakura got the analogy. She of all people, wouldn't want a picture taken of her. So then why does Sasuke need to collect these paw prints? She asked. It's so that I can get a summoning contract, said Sasuke. Summoning contract? Asked Sakura. Yeah, it gives you the ability to summon a creature to your side to aid you in battle, explained Naruto, already familiar with summoning contracts. I guess it's like the contract I signed with the toads, only this one is for cats. What? You have a summoning contract? Asked Sakura, completely surprised. She did not see the giant toad Naruto summoned to save her and as such, she didn't know he had one. Even Naruto has a summoning contract, thought a depressed Sakura. Then we'll just have to find one as well. One that is stronger than Naruto and Sasuke's. Then Sasuke will notice us, declared inner Sakura. So Sasuke needs to go find this Nekomata cat, defeat him, and get his paw print. Piece of cake, said Sakura. It's not that simple. Besides the Nibby, Nekomata is the strongest of the ninja cats. Not to mention, you need to sneak into his heavily guarded fortress, explained Denka. Here, you'll need these, said Tamaki, handing everyone a pair of cat ears on a headband. He also explained to the group the location of Nekomata's fortress and that those ears would be enough of a disguise to get them inside. Team 7 made their way to the south of the Fire Country, near the border of the Land of Rivers, and the coastal location of Nekomata's fortress. Standing on a cliff overlooking the fortress, Sasuke explained their mission, to obtain a paw print of the boss of the ninja cats, Nekomata. With their mission set, the team placed the cat ear headbands on their head. Naruto and Sasuke both doubted if this would actually work. After all, the disguise only consisted of 2 ears. Sakura on the other hand was thinking on how cute she looked with the cat ears on, causing the 2 boys on the team to doubt the disguise even more. Nonetheless, Team 7 approached the door to the fortress to find 2 larger ninja cats standing guard. The 2 guards gave them a suspicious look and Naruto was preparing for a fight. I don't think I've seen you two around here before, questioned one of the guards. Well, you see we are kind of new, said Sasuke, trying to bluff their way through. The guards took a look over the three ninja cats standing in front of them, worrying Sasuke that the disguise was failing. Well then, if you're new here, you know what that means, said the guards, reaching for their weapons. Team 7 braced themselves, fearing that the disguise had failed. The guards flipped a button on the bottom of their weapons and a feathery tail popped out of the tip of the weapons. Team 7 nearly faltered. Is everything all right? Asked one of the guards as Sasuke motioned to the team to just play along. Team 7 got into cat mode and began playing with the toys the guards had given them until the guards hustled them into the fortress. They still weren't sure what had happened, but the disguise had actually worked. The team split up, hoping to find Nekomata's location within the fortress. For Sasuke, he was intending to find Nekomata. He didn't mention it, but he was figuring Naruto would eventually mess something up and draw the attention of the entire fortress, giving him a clear shot towards Nekomata. On the other hand, he was actually relying on Sakura to be able to pick up some information. Wandering around the castle, Sakura found her way into a boruto restaurant within the fortress. Sitting down at the bar, the bartender and another cat in the area took notice to her presence. In their eyes, she was a pink-haired female feline and a rather attractive one. The bartender handed her a complimentary drink and a can of tuna-flavored cat food while the other cat sat down next to her and ordered the same thing. After a few moments, waiting for his drink, the patron cat actually began flirting with her. However, once the food arrived, it appeared as if he was much more interested in the food in front of him than the female cat sitting next to him. Sakura used this time to begin questioning him about the whereabouts of Nekomata, even using the food that she had refused to touch to sweeten the deal. Eventually, the patron let it slip that Nekomata could be found in the highest part of the fortress. Sakura took her leave while the cat was too focused on finishing the extra meal to notice her leaving. Naruto wasn't exactly sure where he was, but wandering around the castle, he found himself in a room where a few cats were sitting around a table playing poker. One of the cats motioned for him to join, but Naruto stated that he didn't have anything to wager. One of the cats, who had a rather large stack of chips, offered Naruto a few chips to get him started, stating that all he had to do was pay him back once he won some chips of his own. Naruto agreed and sat down at the table, joining the game. Since the night in the casino with Tsunade, Naruto had been taught by her the rules and different hands of the games, and now he wasn't completely oblivious to what was going around him. Naruto won the first hand, and the second, and even the third, surprising the cats with his lucky streak. Hey, you're not half bad. I haven't seen you around before, are you new? Asked one of the cats. Yeah, I actually just got here, mentioned Naruto. Another cat picked up on something else about Naruto. Hey, you smell kind of funny, almost foxish, said that cat. Cats and foxes weren't exactly the best of friends, although their relationship was better than that of cats and dogs, or cats and rodents. Did you manage to beat one up on your way here? Naruto let out a hollow laugh, as this comment caught Kurama's attention. Yeah, come on, tell us how you beat up one of those stupid animals, mentioned another cat. The questions from the remaining cats just kept pouring in and Kurama's patience was drawing thin. Kit, I know you're trying to help your friend, but we can at least essay a few of these fish brains around while we are waiting on your friend to finish up, said Kurama, wanting desperately to shut these cats up. So come on, how did it go? Asked a cat again. Not sure what to say, Naruto just brushed the top of his head as he would normally do in a situation like this. However, this time Naruto had on the cat ears and doing so caused them to slip off his head. The cats stared wide-eyed at the now revealed ninja. Huh, is something wrong? Asked Naruto, looking at the cats. Finally things are going to get fun, said the QB. Sakura had managed to meet up with Sasuke and had revealed the location of Nekomata. Good, now all we need is for Naruto to create some sort of distraction, said Sasuke. Right on cue, the alarms in the compound began to sound and they thought that they heard a cat cry out, "Human." This was what they were waiting for as Sasuke and Sakura slipped past the guards who were rushing to where Naruto was. The two found their way up the stairs, leading to a door that was guarded again by two cat guards. Hey you two. Apparently there is a human in the complex, shouldn't you be helping out? Asked one of the guards. Sasuke and Sakura looked at one another and nodded. Cherry Blossom Blizzard, whispered Sakura as the two guards were enveloped in her genjutsu. Sasuke used this time to knock them out and tie them up, clearing their way to Nekomata. They opened the door, stepping into a rather large room with a large cat figure sitting behind a screen at the other end of the room. Shadow Clone Jutsu, shouted Naruto as he was working to fend off wave after wave of ninja cats coming after him. Suddenly, Naruto felt a few small bursts of demon chakra flood his system. Hey, what are you doing? I'm actually doing fine here, asked Naruto to the demon fox inside him. These furballs insult me and my kind and you expect me to just sit aside kit. Explained Kurama. UHG, fair enough, said Naruto as even more chakra flowed into him. It wasn't enough to induce the fox cloak, but it was enough to cause Naruto to take on a few fox-like features and enhanced senses. Needless to say, the ninja cats weren't too much of a match for the demon-powered blonde. Ah, Sasuke Uchiha. Grandma has been telling me so much about you. I was wondering if you would finally show, said the giant cat from behind the shade. I know why you're here and I'm sorry to say but I will not be giving you my paw print. That's fine by me. Just means I'll have to beat you and take it myself, replied Sasuke. He then turned to Sakura. Let me do this on my own. I don't need help to beat this guy. But Sasuke, let me, replied Sakura. No, Itachi beat him years ago and now I need to do the same. If I can't, then how am I supposed to catch up to him? Replied Sasuke. Sakura could say any more as Sasuke began his battle. Nekomata stepped out from his shroud to face his opponent. Looking at the cat boss, he was about TBE size of a two-story building with white fur that had black markings over it. His tail was split at the end, making it appear as if he had two tails, although the tails fused into one about halfway down. The room grew dark as the two began and shadows of cats began to dart towards Sasuke. Not knowing what was going on, the first cat made contact with Sasuke and left a deep scratch in his left arm. The second cat was running towards Sasuke and he responded by firing a great fireball jutsu at the shadow cat. Sasuke's attack didn't help as the cat just jumped through the fireball and landed another blow on his left arm, just above the elbow. Sasuke realized that this had to be genjutsu if his ninjutsu had no effect on the shadow cat. He activated his Sharingan and it quickly see through the effects of the genjutsu. The scratches on his arm dissipated along with the genjutsu that Nekomata had cast. Ah, the Sharingan, commented the giant cat. It has been a while since I've seen it, but the Sharingan won't do you much good if your body can't keep up with me. With that, Nekomata took off after Sasuke, darting towards him at high speeds. Sasuke's Sharingan could keep up with the cat's movements, but Sasuke realized that he was still lacking some of the speed and agility that would be required to fully dodge the cat's attacks. He was able to dodge the attack to a point where he took minimal damage, but was still sent flying halfway across the room. Recovering quickly, Sasuke made his charge towards the cat boss. The cat swung his claws at Sasuke, forcing him to dodge by jumping upwards onto the ceiling. Nekomata took his tail and lashed out at Sasuke while he was clinging to the ceiling using his chakra, throwing him across the room. Sasuke! Shouted Sakura and Naruto, who had just arrived at the cat boss room after finishing up the horde of cats in the floors below. Stay out of this. I've got everything under control, said Sasuke as he struggled to his feet. Nekomata laughed. You think you can win? You can barely stand on his feet, taunted the cat. Your brother could do better than you. Don't compare me to Itachi, shouted Sasuke, making a quick hand sign. Explode. As Sasuke said that, a few explosive tags on the ceiling exploded, causing a pile of rubble to collapse on top of Nekomata, trapping him underneath. While Sasuke was clinging onto the ceiling, he had set a few explosive tags before being flung off. With the cat boss down, Sasuke took out a rather large scroll to collect his prize. Nekomata's paw print. The trio set out to leave the room. Before they could exit, they heard a laugh come from the cat just behind them. Ha ha, smart and clever, just like your brother, said the cat. Team 7 prepared for round 2. Don't worry, the fight is over, Sasuke. I believe this is actually what you came for. Nekomata pulled himself out of the rubble and over to his seat. He reached inside and pulled out a rather large scroll that Naruto recognized as it was similar to the scroll that Jiraiya had given him. Wait, is this? Asked Sasuke. Yes, this is the cat summoning scroll, commented Nekomata. You have proven that you are clever and strong, just like us cats, and as such, I will offer you our contract. Sasuke nodded, accepting the contract. Like Naruto and the Toad contract, Sasuke signed his name in B on the contract, and performed the summoning jutsu. When the smoke cleared, Hina and Denka sat in front of him. Well, it looks like you accomplished what you set out to do, said Hina. I hope you use our contract wisely. After some more chatting amongst the cats, Team 7 set out with their mission accomplished. The next morning, Kakashi had arranged for a team meeting to see Sasuke's new summon. At the meeting, Sasuke performed the jutsu in front of Kakashi, showing that he could in fact summon cats. At the mission hall in Konoha, Team Karatsu had just returned from their mission. Karatsu was a Jonin instructor assigned to his team of Genin the year before Neji graduated the academy. The strongest member on his team was Shinji Hoiga, the eldest son of Kenjo Hoiga, grandson of Aro Hoiga, and the heir of that family of the main branch. Shinji already possessed the talent to advance to Chunin, and Karatsu had been pressured by the Hoiga clan for years to let him participate. However, Karatsu felt that the other two members of his team, Umiratani and Hokono Funi, both descended from civilian clans, were not yet ready for such an exam. As such, the potential of this Hyuga had been held back, despite the fact that he was only 13. The typical age for most Genin to take the Chunin exam for the first time is around 16. However, there are cases where younger Genin that have shown talent have taken the exams when they were younger. This was the case with the Konoha 13 and Kakashi. The mission Team Karatsu had just finished was none other than the mission nicknamed as the Genin's Bane, also known as the Capture Tora mission. The fire daimyo's wife was busy suffocating the poor cat, and the team was relieved that was finally done. Poof! Tora disappeared from the fire daimyo's wife's arms in a puff of smoke. Team Karatsu just stared at the whole event wide-eyed and fearing what was most likely going to happen next. Tora, said the lady, looking around for where her cat may have gone. Oh dear, she seems to have gotten lost again. Children, I don't suppose you could go fetch her again for me, asked the noble lady. They shot a look at Tsunade, asking her to send some other team, but the Hokage just motioned for them to complete their mission, as it was no longer complete. The team sighed and dragged the tired feet out the door for round 2 of the chase. Gah! Shouted Naruto, realizing what cat Sasuke had just summoned. The rest of Team 7 had similar reactions, and as quickly as Tora disappeared from the fire daimyo's wife's arms, Team 7 disappeared from the scene, not wanting to become involved with that mission ever again. They eventually regrouped at Ichiraku's. Naruto had been the one to go there first, and by the time the rest of the team had arrived, he was already sipping down his first bowl. There was no point in dragging him off now, and everyone else was agreeing they could use a bite to eat that didn't taste like cat food. Sasuke, we are going to need to work on controlling which cats you can summon. I want to make this very clear, never summon that cat ever again, scolded Kakashi. You understand, right? I completely understand. That contract is more dangerous than it seemed, replied Sasuke. Hinata sat in her room, trying to think about something that was coming up that was very important. Today was October 7th, 3 days before the birthday of one Naruto Uzumaki. The past few years, she had known pretty much what to get him many days before his birthday. Last year, she had gotten him that pair of goggles that he used to wear back in the academy. The year before was that famed orange jacket that he was always wearing. The pants he had ended up getting separately after he realized just how much he liked the jacket. The year before that one was when she got him Gama-chan, his frog wallet. 4 years ago, which was the first year she really began to take notice of him and develop a crush on him, the time in the academy when he saved her from a group of bullies. For that year, she simply got him a loaded Ichiraku's gift card, noticing how much he liked the place. After that, she realized just how lonely he really was, and that she was the only one who had gotten him presents for his birthday besides the third. Every year since 4 years ago, she got him a present, and the idea for the present usually came from the observations that she made while stalking him around town. Each year, she told herself that she would personally hand the gift to him and let him know that there was someone in Konoha that was glad he was there. However, Every time, she was too shy to carry through with her intentions. She wanted so bad to let him know that those gifts he had been getting from an anonymous person were from her. Nei-san. It was around this time that Hanabi had come looking for her sister. She hadn't seen Hinata for a few hours and Hinata did not realize that she had been in her room this long. Oh. Hello Hanabi, responded Hinata. Nei-san, why have you been in your room for these past few hours? Asked the younger Hoiga. It's nothing. I was just thinking, said Hinata. About what? Asked Hanabi, getting a rather devious smile on her face. Oh, I see. Naruto's birthday is coming up, isn't it? What are you going to get him this year? Hinata's posture quickly straightened and she began to blush, indicating to Hanabi that she had guessed spot on. How did you know? To be honest, you aren't very good at keeping your feelings from him a secret, especially in this clan. At least half the clan knows you get him something for his birthday and even more know that you kind of like him, said Hanabi, causing Hinata to turn a darker shade of red. So, what are you going to get him? I don't know, said Hinata, lowering her head. The past few years I have been able to find something that he really wants, but this year it has been more difficult. I want to give him something that shows him that I care for him, but I just can't seem to think of it. Hanabi thought on this for a little. Well, you are a really good cook. From what father has told me, he's usually been alone on his birthday. Not to mention, it doesn't seem like anyone comes around to celebrate with him or even bring him a cake. Both Hinata and Hanabi got the same idea. If Naruto has never had a birthday cake before, Hinata would make him his first one, and hopefully not the last one she would be making him. This would be special and something he would remember. Oh. And you're going to give it to him personally this year, aren't you? What makes you say that, Hanabi? I always give him his present, lied Hinata. No, you just leave it at his door and then hide around the corner, said Hanabi, calling Hinata's bluff. Hinata's head dropped. Am I really that bad? Asked a depressed Hinata. Hanabi just nodded. But you will give this to him and not just leave it at his door, right? Asked the smaller of the two. Stuttered Hinata as she began to play with her fingers. Hanabi shot her a little glare, trying to get her sister to gather the courage to finally tell Naruto how she felt. After all, what were sisters for? You're right, Hanabi. I need to show Naruto how I feel about him, admitted Hinata. Good. Now that that's settled, let's get to baking that cake. Exclaimed Hanabi as she raced off towards the kitchen. Despite being a confident shinobi prodigy from one of the most esteemed clans in Konoha, Hanabi was still a 6-year-old girl, and like all girls her age, they liked helping their mothers, or big sister in Hanabi's case, with baking in the kitchen with the hopes that they would get the remaining cake batter from the bowls. Hanabi. Naruto's birthday isn't for 3 more days. The cake needs to be fresh, said Hinata. This put a dent in Hanabi's plan to get some free cake batter as she would now have to wait a few days, as Hinata wasn't going to make it until the day of Naruto's birthday so that she could give it to him fresh. In a shady building, somewhere in the dark alleyways of Konoha, around 40 civilians had gathered together for a meeting. After a few minutes of waiting in a crowded audience chamber, one of them stood up and proceeded to the podium. I hereby call this meeting of the Committee of Concerned Citizens regarding Demon Affairs in Konoha to attention, announced the person at the podium. Unless any of you have any matters you wish to share, I would like to proceed with the preparations for this year's demon hunt. This will finally be the year where we finish off the demon brat, and fulfill what the Yondaime had set out to do. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.